Howdy, y'all. This is Stephanie with Apex Languages. I have another Words of the Week for you. It is March 3rd, Super Tuesday. I voted today, and if you're eligible, I hope you did as well. A couple days ago was a very special day. It only comes once every 4 years. I am speaking of Leap Day. Okay, that's February 29th, and it only happens during the leap year. With that in mind, let's talk about what leap actually means. First, let's practice pronouncing the word. Leap, leap, leap. Short and sweet, don't you like that? What part of speech is it? Well, it's both a noun and a verb. It comes from Old English, klappen, which meant to jump or to run. You look at this picture, it kind of looks like he's running and jumping at the same time. So you can see how those two ideas have combined. Leap, as a noun, means a light springing movement, a jump. Okay, leap and jump are synonymous. They mean the same thing. Spring is another synonym, and by that I mean the spring that you see, little dude who just jumped down here. That's a spring, like in your bed, or you've got springs in your cars, you've got springs in your pens, right? So that's a spring, and it bounces. Another synonym, lots of synonyms for this idea of moving your body up and down. Now, the difference between leap and jump tends to be a little bit more common. Leap is, or at least jump is more general. Leap is a little bit more specific because it has the idea of jumping up off of the floor with one foot and landing in a different location with another foot. So you can see here in the picture, right? That's a leap. If you're just jumping, maybe you jump up and down, okay? And you're not really going anywhere. So leap is slightly more specific. It has a sort of grace associated with it when you leap. It really stresses an idea of some sort of movement. Okay, you're not just jumping up and down in place, you are going from one side of the room to another, or from one cliff to another. The verb is to spring through the air from one point to another, like I said, to jump. So leap is a jump or to jump, right? So like very close in meaning. Let's have some sample sentences. The man's leap across the gap was very dangerous. Gap is that open area between those two cliffs. Okay, so his leap, the action of him jumping. In the second sentence, the man leaps from cliff to cliff. So you can see how the noun is used differently than the verb. Very close though. Now, if I wanted to make this past tense, leap is irregular. It's an Old English word, which means it's been in the language for a very long time. And those Old English words are more likely to be irregular. Now, that being said, some irregular verbs have regular endings and irregular endings because over time they want to be normal like everybody else. So you can say leaped. More common, however, is leapt. So you can see the spelling there. It's spelled with a T, but it is pronounced differently. So the first one is leaped. The second one is leapt. Leaped, leapt. Leaped, leapt. Therefore, we would change our sentence at the bottom to the man leapt from cliff to cliff, or the man leaped from cliff to cliff. That would be the past tense of that. I have one more definition left for either of the parts of speech. For the noun, Leap can also mean the distance jump, so not necessarily just the action, but also the distance. And for the noun, that's actually a little bit more common. So that was a really long leap. You're talking, I mean, it's a little bit of both, right? The action, you leapt a very far distance, but also just that distance between where you started and where you ended. Okay. On the other hand, my verb doesn't always have to do with jumping per se, but it can also have to do with moving or acting quickly and suddenly. So maybe your feet, I mean, yes, they lift off of the floor, but it's not so much about the jumping as the movement. So nurses must be prepared to leap into action at a moment's notice because quick action saves life in the ER, in the emergency room. All right. And so they're not jumping up and down. They're getting up from their seat and they're across the room in 0.6 seconds. The focus here is on quick movement. When your mother comes home and she's carrying a bunch of groceries, you leap up and help her. Otherwise, she's going to kick your butt, okay? So this idea of going from 0 to 60, this idea of quickly and out of nowhere jumping into action, we do similar things with the word jump, is found with leap as well as just, jumping. You don't have to be in the air to leap. You just have to be quick. As you can see, leap is pretty straightforward. It's not that complicated. It does have a few idioms, however, so I wanted to take another minute and go over a few of those with you. The first is by leaps and bounds. By leaps and bounds. What does it mean? Quickly. My kids are growing by leaps and bounds. It seems that as soon as I buy them new clothes, they've already grown out of them. Leaps means jumps. Bounds is another synonym. There's quite a few synonyms. We like to jump a lot in English, apparently. Okay, and so the idea here, as you could see from the illustration as well, it means that something is done quickly, more quickly than expected, and generally by stages. It's like people are jumping from one stage to another. So let's say you came to class on your first day of English and you're in level 1, but a week later you're in level 2, and in week 3 you're in level 5. Okay, this is the idea of you're jumping from one level to another more quickly than people expect. So the same with the picture, baby, boy, teenager, adult, okay? It just goes quickly. You look one moment, you've got a cute little baby, and then he's all grown up when you blink your eyes. So by leaps and bounds, you can use that in a couple of different contexts. It means quickly, especially more quickly than expected. Another idiom that leaps to mind is leap to mind. Repeat that with me. Leap to mind. Leap to mind. It means to quickly materialize in one's thought. As in, you're trying to think of something. Does the information show up? Or do you draw a blank? Do you have writer's block? These all mean that nothing's happening. There's nothing in your head. I wish I could give you advice, but nothing leaps to mind at the moment. So this has to do with the verb that means to be quick to act. Okay, so not so much jumping, but this idea of our ideas coming quickly. No, you just keep drawing blanks. You just keep having a lot of empty space in your head instead of thoughts. That can be very frustrating. Okay, does the right English word leap to mind? That's very hard for language learners. All right, so it's a useful idiom. Finally, let's talk about Neil Armstrong. When he had the opportunity to become the first American to walk on the moon, He leapt at the chance. He acted quickly, enthusiastically, without hesitation. He was excited to be part of such a historic mission. It was an exciting opportunity, but still very dangerous. So he had to take a leap of faith that everyone at NASA knew what they were doing. A leap of faith is something that you have to do without evidence. You're not sure that it'll work. He didn't know if he was going to make it up. They were actually watching all the other shuttles go up and explode. That would have been terrifying. Yet he had to have faith. He had to trust in his coworkers that they were doing everything they could to protect him. He had to have faith, that blind faith. He had to take a leap of faith. Fortunately, everything went as planned, and the mission was a success. This was a quantum leap in the space race and in science in general. It was a huge accomplishment. Okay, quantum is a lot, and so it's a big leap. Okay, this is, I showed you the leap with the children by leaps and bounds, right? Well, a quantum leap is going from a plane to landing on the moon in, what was it, 40 years? That's huge, okay? It was such a big accomplishment, in fact, that as Neil stepped out of the space shuttle for the first time, he exclaimed proudly to everyone watching from home, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." A giant leap. So, one final mystery. Now that you know what leap means, why do we use it to describe the leap year? That answer isn't exactly obvious, but it has to do with annual holidays. Fixed holidays that are the same each year, like St. Patrick's Day, for example. Every year, St. Patrick's Day, the day that we Americans celebrate our Irish heritage, whether you're Irish or not, it falls on the 17th of March. This year, that is a Tuesday. Next year, it'll be a Wednesday. The year after that will be a Thursday. The year after that will be a Friday. In 2024, however, the next leap year, we will skip or leap over Friday, and the holiday will be celebrated on a Saturday instead. So that's where the idea of leap year is. You're leaping over the date, and you have to add 2 days to the calendar to know when your next holiday will be. At last, it's time to practice, so leap to it. Today, pretty straightforward. Write a sentence using leap and or one of its idioms, ideally 2 different ways. I can't make it too easy for you, so see if you can use leap more than one way in one sentence. Or if you have to, write 2 sentences, but write something. Okay, get some practice. I won't keep you much longer because I know how excited you are to get started on that homework. So just remember, if you're interested in more videos, there's plenty at apexlanguages.com. Thank you as always for watching, and have a wonderful day.